Greetings everyone. This is Sri Roshini Nakka, legal intern at Law Minds. The topic for today's video is understanding GDPR compliance for business. GDPR refers to General Data Protection Rules or Regulations. To begin with the introduction, in the era dominated by digital transactions and online interactions, the protection of personal data has emerged as a critical concern globally. The General Data Protection Regulations, enacted by the European Union in 2018, has set a new standard for data privacy and security impacting business worldwide. While the GDPR is a European regulation, its implementation extends beyond the EU borders, affecting businesses operating internationally, including those in India. Understanding and complying with the GDPR is imperative for Indian businesses that handle European residents. GDPR compliance. What is it? The process of abiding by all the GDPR statutory regulations and guiding principles is known as compliance. So, what are these involve? Firstly, establishing a data inventory and mapping it, getting the data subjects explicit consent, hiring a data protection officer, educating the data subjects about their rights, specifying the security measures, and notifying the data breach, among other things. So, your online business can be considered GDPR compliant if these policies and concepts are successfully incorporated into it. This is how the compliance of GDPR goes. Now, let us see the objectives of GDPR. The General Data Protection Regulations objectives are to preserve fundamental rights, to offer safe channels for individuals to exchange personal information online, and to guarantee the unrestricted flow of personal information across the Union. These are the important objectives of General Data Protection Regulations. Now, let us see what are applicabilities of GDPR in India. Despite being an EU regulation, the GDPR applies to Indian businesses that offer goods or services to EU residents or monitor their behavior regardless of the company's physical location. The extraterritorial reach means that Indian businesses engaged in cross-border data transfers or catering to EU customers must comply with GDPR provisions to avoid penalties and legal consequences. Thus, the GDPR are applicable in India as well. That is, the businesses which are in connection with residents of EU. Now, what are the key principles of GDPR? To begin with, there are several fundamental principles like the lawfulness, fairness and transparency, purpose limitations, data minimizations, accuracy, storage limitations, integrity and confidentiality, which involves measures must be in place to ensure the security and confidentiality of personal data, including protection against unauthorized and unlawful processing and accidental tools, destructions of damage. What are GDPR compliance requirements for Indian business? 1 is data mapping and inventory. 2 is lawful basis for processing. 3 data subject rights. D privacy for design and default, that is integrating data protection principles into the design and operation of systems and processes, ensuring that the privacy is considered from the outset. Achieving these GDPR complex entails several key requirements which I have mentioned for practices for Indian businesses. These compliances will help Indian businesses to be set up with proper guidelines. To continue, data protection officer appointment, data breach response, international data transfers such as implementing appropriate safeguards such as standard contractual clauses, binding corporate rules for transferring personal data outside the EU to countries without an adequacy decision from the European Commission. These are essential compliances which the Indian businesses have to take care while mentioning with the GDPR guidelines with the European residents. Now, let us see, that is the penalties for non-compliance. Non-compliance with GDPR can result in severe financial penalties, reputational damage and legal repercussions for Indian businesses. Supervisory authorities in EU has the authority to impose fine up to 20 million euros or 4% of company's global annual turnover, whichever is higher, for serious violations of regulations. Additionally, with other punishments. Benefits of GDPR compliance for Indian businesses. 1 is enhanced data security. 2 is improved customer trust. 3 competitive advantage. D global reach, that is to compliance with GDPR positions India's businesses to navigate the increasingly complex global regulatory landscape and expand into international markets with confidence. While achieving these GDPR compliances require investment in sources and operational damages, these benefits will help Indian businesses in the GDPR compliancing in the worldwide. Now, let us see the GDPR's 8 essential rights. First is right to access, second, the right to be forgotten, third, the right to data probability, fourth, the right to information. Right to information is essential. This includes any data collection by businesses, and people have the right to information prior to data collection. We'll also see the other 4 essential rights of GDPR. One being the important right of information correction guarantees that people can have inaccurate, incomplete, or out of date information updated. The right to restrict processing, the right to object, which covers persons' ability to prevent their data from being processed for direct marketing. This policy is non-negotiable and processing of requests must cease. Policy is non-negotiable and processing of requests must cease immediately upon receipt. Furthermore, people must be made aware of this immediately from the outset of any communication. These are essential rights, 8 rights that will be concluded with this right. That is the right to notification. An individual has a right to be notified of a data breach that affects their personal information within 72 hours of learning about the incident. The GDPR is the EU's attempt to give people more control over their data and less power to the companies who gather and exploit it for financial advantage. This applies to individuals, prospects, customers, contractors, and workers. Coming to the conclusion, GDPR compliance is a multifaceted endeavor that requires ongoing commitment and diligence from Indian businesses. By understanding the key principles of GDPR, implementing robust compliance measures, prioritizing data privacy and security, organizations can mitigate risk, build trust with customers, and unlock opportunities for sustainable growth and innovation. As data protection regulates continue to evolve, Indian business must remain proactive, adaptable, and committed to upholding the highest standards of data privacy and ethical conduct in carrying on a business. Organizational operations have been altered by the GDPR compliance regulations, which have also highlighted the need of protecting personal data. Businesses looking to build consumer trust, keep a competitive edge, and enhance data security procedures must adhere to GDPR. Furthermore, business may navigate the complexities of GDPR, lower risk, and position themselves as responsible guardians of personal data in the modern digital age by adhering to the regulations, essential principles, and performing the necessary activities. That's for the video of GDPR compliance. Thank you.